So, that was fun. But I guess it's time we got moving. I know you all have big plans.
You're gonna hardly recognize me when we see each other again.
I wonder if cream and sticks are free. Make a road trip out of it.
It'll be good to get back to my island. At least for a while.
We're wasting daylight. Let's go!
Yeah, so, by the way, I want to say something real quick since the song is playing. So last time, it turned out I got my info wrong. Apparently the song was by Sonic Team for the fans, which looking at it now makes much more sense because essentially the song is to serve as like Sonic Team and Sega's message to the fans to basically, like, I guess thank them for sticking out for all like the hard times that Sonic went through and never giving up, and then basically just telling us that by choosing to stick through and stand by like Sonic and like Sega and whatnot, the future looks bright for us Sonic fans, as you know, they promise to make good stuff. And I gotta say, considering that when this game came out, which was 2022, things were still kind of like a little shaky. I know the Sonic movies had really kind of like reinvigorated interest in Sonic again, but I think like the games coming out afterwards, like, well, I don't know about Superstars, but I know Sonic and Shadow Generations, everyone's been saying that that game's pretty good, and yeah, like, then there's the Sonic 3 movie everyone is hyped for, so yeah, I mean, anyways, point is, yeah, I got this wrong. Like, the song is actually for us fans, and like when you put it in that perspective, the lyrics of the song makes much more sense, and I really like that. As a Sonic fan, I just love that I just love this song. Like, I'd say honestly now, before this song, Endless Possibilities used to be my favorite, or was my favorite Sonic song of all time. Yes, I actually like it more than Live and Learn, like, don't come at me. But this song, I wouldn't say like takes over Endless Possibilities, but to me it's kind of like neck and neck for top Sonic song. It's either this song or Endless Possibilities for me. I can't decide right now. I really can't decide, so I'll just say I like them both equally. Anyways, so Final Horizons. See, I like it and I hate it. Well, hate is a strong one. I like it and I dislike it. I like that it lets us play as Amy, Tails, and Knuckles, which it has been a long time, like a very long time, I think almost 15 years since we were able to play as any of those characters in a Sonic game. Because the last time we were able to play as Tails, or Amy, or Knuckles was in Sonic 06. This game came out, or this update came out 2023, so what, like, yeah, between 15, like almost 15 years, around 15 years since we were able to play as any of these characters, and I gotta say, they play really well. Like, I like them. Their movesets pretty good. I like how they're each unique. Like, they have the base movesets, like the homing attack, the boost, and whatnot. But they also have their own unique abilities. Now they're not perfect. Like, Tails' flight can kind of get a little weird, but nothing too crazy. But they all, I just like that how they all play similarly yet very differently at the same time. And I really like that. I really like that about Final Horizons. Honestly, ironically, the only parts I don't like about Final Horizons are the Sonic parts. Which is funny because the game is based around like Sonic and his like playstyle. And you spend the whole game playing as him. But it's just the towers. The towers are just so frustratingly annoying because I get they're supposed to be a challenge, but if you fall, if you screw up, you have to like hope that you can catch yourself like along the way, because if you don't, you're just gonna like fall down and redo the whole tower. So the towers were pretty annoying. And then even as if the towers weren't already bad enough, the trials are pretty annoying. Some of them are, I mean, only like one or two of them are alright, I guess. But man, they're just so annoying. And well, I already saved this. Oh. Yeah, so I mean, like, just gonna kind of roll around a bit in here. But yeah, I mean, the trials are annoying. Yeah, the trials are annoying. And the Master Coco, or the Master King Coco trial, oh my god, that's horrendous. I mean, alright, I will admit, it was only hard because apparently, like I said, I'm a masochist, I like to suffer, so I'm a masochist, I love to suffer. I could have made it easy for myself by just putting the game difficulty on easy. I didn't want to because I guess I just really hate myself because I want to challenge myself, however you want to look at it. But trust me, I mean, unless you're a masochist like me and you want like a challenge, like a really, really hard challenge and whatnot, then yeah, go by all means, play this game on hard. If you want like that sense of accomplishment, like, you definitely do get it. But if you just want to have some fun with this game and, you know, just progress through the story and whatnot, do yourself a favor and just play it on easy. Trust me, your sanity will thank you for it. But man, that King Coco trial, I hate it. It's just annoying. Like, I can see why they did it because, like I said, fighting the end boss, I realized that I learned the skills and techniques to take on that boss. I learned them from from having to do the Master King Coco trial. So I will give Sonic Team some props for that. Because like I said, I think a lot of people who I saw talking about it, I don't think they gave them enough credit. You know, I don't think they kind of gave them enough credit, because that's pretty impressive. But still, I mean, I think it could have been a little easier.
I'm gonna hop on that grind rail over there. Here to join me?
So that is how they appear to you.
How they appear? What, don't you see them too?
The current iteration of cyberspace was formed based on your memories. Since linking with it, your memories are now affecting things even outside of cyberspace. As a result of the link, many of the things you see around you are recreations from your memory. It is a testament to how deeply you are linked with cyberspace. I have scanned the area you are pointing to, and my sensors are not picking up anything. To my eyes, there is nothing there.
Well, at least we got some exposition as to why things look like this in the Starfall Islands. What else? So yeah, I'm not here. I'd say that's probably like my biggest issue with this update. It's just that it's really the Sonic parts. It's just the Sonic parts are a little too hard for their own good. I get it, you know, it's cause like by now if you're playing this, like you would have already beaten like the main story, you would have already like most likely have like Sonic stats like very high, and like you would most likely already have all his skills unlocked, and you would have already mastered playing him. But still, like they're just a little too difficult. Honestly, the towers wouldn't be all that bad. The towers wouldn't be all that bad if they had like some kind of checkpoint system where it's like, okay, you know, you finished, yeah, like you, yeah, oh man, like you finished all this, or you made it past this section, so yeah, you made it past this section, so we'll put like a checkpoint here, that way like in case you fall or whatever, you oh, there we go, in case you fall or whatever, you don't have to do this all over again. And that's another thing too, like it's not like they're even all that short. They do take a few minutes to climb all the way to the top, so if they were short, I probably wouldn't even mind the I wouldn't mind the maybe not having any checkpoints, but still. And I don't know, I feel like there might be people who would say, oh, but you know, like you can easily get through them by doing like exploits and whatnot, like speedrunning tactics, and all I gotta say is, look, I'm not a speedrunner. I know Sonic games are very well liked because they have a lot of speedrunning tactics in them that speedrunners exploit, and you know, to some extent, like Sonic games I think are a little easier to speedrun than other games due to the fact that Sonic is all about speed, and his abilities really allow, really ease speedrunning, or yeah, speedrunning tactics. But still, I'm not a speedrunner, guys, so if I have to pull off some crazy like movement tech just to be able to, yeah, if I have to pull off some crazy movement tech just to be able to, yeah, just to be able to, make things easy for me when it comes to this, yeah, I'm not really gonna like it. I'm not gonna have a fun time. It's just how it is. It's not too Amy, because I bet you this is...
Amy, I know you're worried about the Coco. You gotta take care of yourself, too.
I could say the exact same words to you, too. The cyber corruption is painful, but if you can handle it, so can I.
Well, you got me there. We'll get through this together.
Okay. But anyways, yeah, so not a huge fan of the towers, not a huge fan of the trials. I'm really not a huge fan of the Master King Koga trial. Now the final boss, the end. Let's see here. Yeah, it was a little difficult, but mainly it was because, like, you know, just like any other game, when you take on a final boss for the first time, or I guess bosses in general, and you don't know what to do, yeah, you don't know what to do, they're gonna be difficult. So it was just the same thing with me. You know, this is the first time I ever fought this boss. So yeah, it was the first time I ever fought this boss. Didn't really know what to expect. So yeah, it was difficult, but once I figured it out, like, I was able to do it. And honestly, I think now that I beat it, for sure, if I were to do it again, probably could beat it much more easily. It's the same thing with like the Titans when I had to take them on for the Master King Coco trial. Once I learned all the techniques that I had to do, and once I learned all the techniques that I had to do to make the challenge easy or easier, and once I like took on the once I took them on a couple of times, the hell? Yeah, once I took them on a couple of times, a lot else. Sorry, I lost the train of thought. Once I took them on a couple of times, I basically knew their attack patterns and what the hell? Is that what that means? And why is Sonic doing the Mario burn animation? Where he grabs his, that's from Mario. That's what Mario does every time like he like catches on fire. He just like grabs his ass and like, yeah, he just grabs his ass. I don't know why Sonic's doing the same thing. That's funny. But anyways, yeah, so by the way, I'm just fucking around here, like, I'm not, it looks like I get Lookout Coco, and I guess that's what the Lookout Coco are for the towers, not the gears. So, yeah, you know, I had like a shit ton of, what? Wow, that's devious. I had a shit ton of Lookout Coco, so that's why, like, I guess all the towers opened up, and, yeah, that's how all the towers opened up. And that's why I didn't have to do these, so at least now I saw, I got the answer to that question of what the hell the Lookout Coco are for. They're for the towers. But yeah, the final boss, a little harder, but honestly, I have to say, story-wise, I do prefer the story of another story. More than the way the story ends in the base game. It's just a better ending, I think. Like, you know, first of all, like, the fact that Sonic and his friends and Eggman and Sage all team up to take on the end, and like they all share the workload is pretty cool. What else is there? And then the fact that like the boss is better, like, don't get me wrong, I think the end boss from the base game is alright. I mean, I've heard some people say it's a bit disappointing. I guess it could be. I didn't really mind because all the other bosses are superb, so like, having a game full of I'm just gonna quit this stage because I don't know what's going on. Yeah, because having all the other bosses be what they are, they're all good. Like, this game has no bad bosses, except maybe like the end from the base game. Just because it really just gets relegated to a simple like 2D arcade shooter, like. And then yeah, the ending, the fact that like Sage sacrifices herself, but this time around she doesn't, and both Eggman and Sage get a happy ending, which I like. Even though Eggman is a villain, he really isn't the main villain in this game, and honestly he barely is even a villain in this game. But I'm glad Eggman gets a nice gets a happy ending, and with Sage being alive, I hope that means we get to see a little bit more of Sage in future Sonic games. That'd be really cool. So yeah, honestly this update is kind of hit or miss for me. Like it's good. All the new stuff is good with all the new characters that you get to play as. The Sonic parts are probably just like my least favorite things, except for the final boss. The final boss, epic, so epic. Like, yeah, the end battle in this story is much cooler, much more epic than the battle, than the first end battle that you get. Yeah, much cooler, much more epic than the first end battle that you encounter in the base game. So those are my thoughts. Oh, and one more thing. So, you know, clearly you saw that Sonic had a new supersonic form, which apparently is, from what I've heard, the community, I don't know if this is official or not, but it's been dubbed Supersonic 2, which I gotta say is very lame. I mean, say what you will about Sonic, Supersonic copying Dragon Ball and whatnot and other animes, but what I've always liked about Sonic is that unlike other animes, I hate when they introduce like special forms or whatever, and then it's like it works until they face a more powerful enemy, cause then, you know, the enemy is too strong, so like the main character has to go beyond their limits, unlock some new power or whatever, and then they unlock a new form. And really, I'm gonna stick to like Goku, because it's probably the easiest one. Like, there's Super Saiyan, there's Super Saiyan 2, there's Super Saiyan 3, and I don't know how many Super Saiyan forms there are. I just know there's a lot, and it just kind of gets like, once you unlock all these newer forms, what's the point of going back to the old forms, you know? And then it also just kind of creates an issue of power scaling, because it's like, okay, so then like what's the point of unlocking, yeah, like, you know, these enemies just get stronger and stronger, and then your form gets stronger and stronger, and I don't know, I feel like it's just kind of like power creep, and then it just kind of renders the other forms like not that strong and whatnot. Whereas Sonic, like, yeah, he has multiple forms, but they're not like based off, like, they don't stack off of supersonic forms. Like, they're probably like alternatives. Like, first one that comes to mind is Dark Spine Sonic. I don't know if it's stronger than Supersonic, but it's an alternative to Supersonic. Same thing with Excalibur Sonic. The only one is Hypersonic that like is supposed to be stronger. But at least with Hypersonic though, first of all, at least he looks different and he looks cooler, which, yes, I know the Super Saiyans also changed their look, but at least it has a creative name. Like, that's what I like. You have Supersonic and then you have Hypersonic. Dragon Ball, what? Super Saiyan, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. Oh wow, such creative with the names there, guys. Now, I did hear, apparently, Ian Flynn, the writer of this game, he wanted to use hypersonic. He wanted to use the hypersonic form for like the final boss, but Sega said no, you can't do that, because I don't know what it is with Sega. They just really want to pretend like hypersonic doesn't exist. Even then, they did say that canonically hypersonic doesn't exist, like in Sonic 3 and Knuckles in Doomsday Zone, like he actually fights Eggman as supersonic, not as hypersonic. And they said that the only reason hypersonic exists is just because it was supposed to be a reward for the players who collected all the Chaos Emeralds in the Sonic 3 portion of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. So I get that, but I don't know, they could have just not even included the form at all, and like, you know, I don't know, giving us some kind of other reward. But that's why you don't see hypersonic in anything outside that game. And yeah, I'm glad Ian Flynn was like, hey, let me use hypersonic, guys. And Sega is the one who's like, nope, don't use it. We don't, hypersonic's not canon and whatnot. And I kind of get it, because kind of going back to what I was complaining about with like animes, Sega said that like I think the reason they don't want hypersonic to be canon is because then it renders both the Chaos Emeralds and supersonic redundant or mundane. Yeah, mundane, that's the word. Which makes sense, because if Sonic can turn hyper, why would he need to be super when hyper is stronger? And the same thing with the Chaos Emeralds. You need the super emeralds to become hypersonic, so it's like, why just use the Chaos Emeralds? Why not always like have them be infused with Master Emerald power to become the super emeralds? So that's my thoughts. I would have loved to see hypersonic come back in this game. Unfortunately, we just get the lame Supersonic 2 form. I mean, it's not that lame. I actually do fuck with the blue eyes. I think the blue eyes look much cooler with Supersonic than the red eyes. But whatever. I mean, that's just the reality. I don't think hypersonic is ever gonna be canon. I don't think we're ever gonna see it again outside of like fan games and mods and maybe a few Easter eggs. But yep. Other than that, let's just go talk to Sage real quick, and I can finally wrap up this video.
It seems your friends have been making progress on the emeralds.
I knew they could handle it.
But there's no time to waste. You must hurry to the tower.
You're right. It's time to get to it.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I essentially teleported back to the point before I defeated the end. Well, anyways, with that all being said and done, all in all, Sonic Frontiers with this update, I like it. I think Sonic Frontiers is a really good game. A little rough around the edges in some parts, but I think it is a good step in the right direction. Or it's a big step in the right direction. And I'm really looking forward to the next big, like, new Sonic title. And I say big new because I know they're really, like, Sonic and Shadow Generations, it's really more of a remake or remaster with, like, added content. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the sequel to this game will be, whether it be a straight up Sonic, like a direct sequel, the Sonic Frontiers 2, or maybe like something related to it, or maybe just continuing the story but not directly, kind of like how Sonic Heroes continues the story of Sonic Adventure, but Heroes isn't like a direct sequel to Adventure 2, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean, this is the game that I waited so many years to play. This is the game that succeeds Sonic Forces, and I think Sega really cooked in the kitchen with this one. not perfect. You could say like meal came out a little burnt, but still pretty good and tasty overall. So unfortunately this isn't the end, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. This isn't the end of the Sonic Marathon, because I still have 2 more games to play. If I would have done this back in 2022, this would have been the end. And that's when I originally, after like, you know, this game came out and Sonic's 30th anniversary was over, I decided to kind of like repurpose the marathon from being like a 30th anniversary celebration to like a marathon to Sonic Frontiers. But now, since 2 new Sonic games have come out since then, yeah, I really don't know what to call this marathon anymore. Like, I know I still brand it as the 30th anniversary marathon, but I don't know, it's just cause like, it just fits. I don't really want to make changes like that, and I just really want to end this thing, so, you know, I just don't have more Sonic games piling on, and then like I'm stuck doing this marathon forever. But yeah, I got 2 more games after this, so next up we got Sonic Superstars, which I've never played, and I should say that right here, right now. The next 2 games I haven't played. Well, I have played Sonic Generations, and I think what I'm gonna do with Sonic Generations, I'm actually gonna replay the Sonic Generation part, because apparently there's a couple changes made. So even though I already played Sonic Generations on this channel and whatnot, I am gonna replay it for Sonic X Shadow Generations, because there are a few changes. But good thing with Sonic Generations is that Sonic Generations isn't that long of a game anyways, so it shouldn't take that long. But besides that, never played Superstars, never played Sonic X Shadow Generations. So same thing with this game. I'm going into it blind. I don't know what to expect. I'm gonna be learning as I'm playing along. So yeah, I mean, look forward to it, guys. Thank you guys for watching my playthrough of Sonic Frontiers. I know it was long, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was worth the wait. So thank you, and see you guys next time.